Hey to Z, Domain to Genus here, welcome back to the Datapacks Let's Play, where I am playing Survival Minecraft but creating datapacks to go along with the world as we go. Last episode we built that house off in the distance behind me and sort of started the world off with a couple small little bits and pieces. Hold on, if I pull up the installed Datapacks thing, we made these two. We made leaf cuttings, and we've added a Datapack which just adds some custom advancements, as you can see in here. But today, well, first let me show you all the things that have changed. So the village that we started off in last episode, I've spruced it up a little. I've cleaned up all the paths a bit so it's easier to get between everything. The iron golems can now get around and actually defend the village quite easily. I've started off a little chicken coop here in this paddock that was empty, and oh boy howdy do they lay a lot of eggs. Chickens lay eggs so frequently. I've done a little bit of terraforming around the landscape. I've done some caving, as you might be able to see in my hotbar, and I found 3 dogs! So we've tamed them, and they will need names at some point. I've decorated the house a little bit with these trapdoors. And in my caving explorations of the local area, if we come over here, I found a spider spawner right at the surface here. And this was the loot. We also got some bread from it that I've been snacking away at. So, yeah. I've been exploring the surrounding areas a bit. And, well, I'll show you what else I've done. I've also spruced up the back of the house a little. And by spruced up, perhaps the word is more birched up. But I have expanded the list of data packs that I want to make. And I've sorted them into different things. So we've just got stuff that doesn't really fit into anything else at the moment. But we've got enchanting stuff, Minecraft Dungeons inspired stuff, and metal rebalancers. Now, this is the first iron that I've actually gotten in the world. It's these ingots, but so far I've got almost 3 stacks of ore that I haven't smelted yet, for very good reason, and that is the first on this list here of ores to nuggets. I want to rebalance metal smelting in Minecraft, and okay, appears we've got a visitor who I will deal with in due course, probably off camera. But yes, so this is all the stuff, and I want to thank Lee Cooper 7 for the Bane of Arthropods suggestion. The comment will be up on screen now. He asked if I could make Bane of Arthropods a useful enchantment, which we shan't be doing today, but that spider spawner we found is going to be very, very helpful. So, I'm going to go and deal with that Enderman we've now got an issue with, and I will be back with you in a wee moment. Well, we've just dealt with the Enderman. It's holding a flower, a nice peace offering as it tried to bash our brains in with it. So that issue is dealt with, and today I really want to focus, as I said earlier I think, on the metal rebalancing. So that is going to include redoing the smelting recipes for the different ores you get in Minecraft, and adding crafting recipes for chainmail, because as I understand, hold on, let's just check if this is the case. I believe you craft chains with 2 nuggets and an ingot. Now, the way I want to do a chainmail armor recipe is just you have chains and it's the basic recipe of, if we convert this back into whatchamacallit, instead of this being, oh, it's iron boots, it would be chains in these places and it would be chainmail. However, presently chainmail is more expensive than iron, and as such, there's no one would want to make it. I mean, you might still not want to make it afterwards, but I'm going to go through and rebalance that. So I've already set up, if I can find it here, I've already set up the basic stuff in our Datapacks Let's Play world for a metal rebalance pack. So this, nothing is actually going to go in here other than the messages to say we've loaded the data pack. What we want to focus on is in the Minecraft part of the data pack, and it will be in recipes. So what I've done is I've pulled up the Minecraft version .jar, and we're in the, oh, it's called RC1 or something. Hold on, we can find out what it's called. Yes, 1.16-RC1. The WOB was generated in 1.16 pre-release 7. So we go in, and I'm using WinRAR to open this up, in case anyone is wondering. So you go in, you open up the jar file, you want to go to Data, Minecraft, Recipes, and then you've got all the recipes you could ever want in here. So I'm going to take a moment to extract all the recipes we want and copy them over into the Minecraft Datapacks recipes thing. Here we go. So these are all of the various different recipes that are already in Minecraft that we might want to change for this data pack. And I take back what I said earlier about nothing going in here, because Minecraft presently doesn't have any recipes for chainmail armor, so we are going to create those from scratch later on. But first, we want to go through and modify these. So I'm using Notepad++ to edit these. I just find it's really useful, but you can use whatever text editor you can get your hands on. I recommend Notepad++ because it is free. So we'll open up the chainmail, and this is the advancement we've got in to acknowledge that the data pack is installed, by the way. So maximize this, and this is the pattern presently for the chain recipe in Minecraft. And as you can see, it's 2 nuggets and an iron ingot. Now we just want to remove the ingot and replace that with a nugget. And we can go over to Minecraft now and sleep, because, oh good lord, it's a good thing we don't need to leave the house in this episode. It's going to be a bottle episode whilst I hope that any creepers that may be outside spawn. I should really put some windows in, because creepers will try and blow up the house, I have found. So we're going to convert these to that. We can go doot doot doot, and it doesn't make a difference. Then if we reload, as you can see, it brings up 2 messages for this, ores to nuggets and chainmail crafting. I did that ahead of time. And now, hey, we've got that. But let's change this and just double check that this recipe doesn't work. Aye, grand. And we're actually going to convert all of these back to that because, well, the next recipe I'm going to change, if I need to get rid of that, that's the recording folder, is we're going to change the iron ingot recipe from nuggets. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to take out that final line, and I'll explain why we're doing this later, because we need to do it for the iron nugget recipe as well, which is where you get it from the iron ingots, so that the conversion rate is the same. But if we are, hold on, I've got to find the right thing here. It's iron ingot, right? Okay. If we're getting ingots from ores originally and we change this to nuggets, that is going to mean that you would need to smelt 9 ore to get 1 ingot. And that is a lot of work. So we're not going to do that. We're going to say it will be 6 nuggets to 1 ingot, which balances it out a bit more, and it means that iron armor will now be exactly twice as expensive as chainmail armor, which I think works quite nicely. However, we're not going to replace iron ingots with iron nuggets when it comes from blasting. Now you can tell the difference between a blast furnace recipe and a regular furnace recipe by this line here, the type. If it's smelting, if it's blasting, if it's just a regular crafting table stuff, crafting shapeless that's a whole nother thing. So crafting shaped, crafting shapeless. I hope that speaks for itself. I'm sure you can think of recipes. But what we're instead going to do is keep this as iron ingots. But we're going to double the time it takes, because usually a blast furnace takes half the length of time of this. So we're nerfing iron ore generally, but when you get to enough iron for you to make yourself a blast furnace, the blast furnace is now 6 times as efficient at producing iron from iron ore than the regular furnace is. So we've nerfed furnaces, we've buffed blast furnaces, which might be controversial. We'll see. So yeah, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that for the gold stuff. So we can probably get rid of those recipes because we're not worried about changing those. So I'm going to go through now and do for the gold ingots what we just did for the iron. Okay, so that is all done, nice and hunky-dory, which is a phrase I never thought I would say on a video stream, or video film or whatever. So we're going to reload the pack in now, and just clear that out of the way so it's less of a mess. And now, when we do this, yes, the iron nuggets now smelt to 6 each, and you may be wondering why I didn't leave it as the 9 before, but it was just so that it wasn't all imbalanced when I did stuff. Now, that means... oh great. If we dump this in, that's going to start smelting to nuggets, but once we get to... Now I've got some smooth stone here, and once we get enough iron to make a blast furnace, which should be only smelting 6 of these, if I recall. I don't actually know what the recipe for a blast furnace is. Oops. We should be good to go, and then it's been a lot of work to essentially just get a different type of furnace in place, but I'm hoping that it slows the progression down. So this iron I got from the spider chest, or the spider spawn chest, but if you didn't find one of those, the idea is hopefully that people will be encouraged to craft chainmail armor before they craft iron armor. I don't know, it's just a little thing, and with gold being buffed in this update with regards to piglins in the nether, it'll be a while before we get to stuff in the nether, but don't you worry, there are changes I want to make there too down the line. The idea of this is just... sorry, I had to eat there. The idea of this is just to pace out the progression of Minecraft, because, as I said, it can be quite easy to just find chests and progress, which is fine, but it sort of takes out the nice bit of grind beforehand, whereas now we've extended the grinding and chests are a real, true time saver that I think people will appreciate a lot more. So we're going to let it smelt this one final nugget, and then we'll pull all the iron out of this and we'll tear down the furnace. Okay, let's go. Now we turn this on, make one of you, and now we have... nope, that's a smoker. This is the true test. Come on, come on! Hey, we've done it! Whoop whoop! I'm quite pleased with that, I must say. So, now the question is, do I do iron or chainmail armor, because I clearly have enough iron to make myself iron armor, but... Oh, no, I haven't added in... bother, I haven't added in the chainmail armor crafting recipes. Well, let's give that a moment. Okay, so I'm over in the Datapacks nominal folder. So there's a Datapack convention, which is you have a global folder where you store all this stuff that is supposed to be used between Datapacks. There's the Minecraft folder, which is when you want to change anything that's already in the game. And then this folder here is generally for stuff you want to add that is specific to your Datapack. At least that's how I do it. Other people might do it slightly differently. There is a community where we try and make sure everyone's doing the same sort of conventions so that everything can work together. But I've copied over the chain recipe that we made earlier because it is shaped, and we're going to rename this to do the chest plate first, because the chest plate is the big one. So we've added this, we open it up, and we want it to be a crafting shaped recipe, and the item we want to use is not the iron nugget but the chain. So go replace chain there, and down here we want the result to be a chainmail chest plate instead of the chain itself, because otherwise we'd just be making chains from chains, which seems reductive. So the patterns, you can go up to 3 things, go 3 characters each line, and that's the 9x9 of the crafting grid. We are going to replace the N with a C for chain. You can replace it with whatever you like, in perfect honesty. And if you want there to be a space, you just put a space. So long as you don't key in space as a specific item, it will recognize that perfectly fine. So that's the chainmail chestplate done, and then if we want, we can just take this format. I very rarely do anything from scratch, you'll notice quite quickly in these, because it's just easier. It is just so much easier to take stuff that has already been partly made and then modify it as you need to. That's what I was looking to say. So that's the helmet, that will be the boots. I don't need to do all this on camera, but I will, because watch time, I suppose. Again, if you have any ideas for what you yourself would like to see added to this world, anything you want up on that list on the back of my house, do put it in the comments, because comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Okay, let's finish this off with leggings, which will just be there. And then let's hope I've done this right the first time, because if not, I'm going to have to come back and change all of these. I would recommend when you implement crafting recipes in a set like this, that you do one of them and test that that works before you make all the others. I would recommend you test the first in the set before you go on to do everything else. Now, oh brother, that's a lot of iron. Now we're only going to need a few of these. Gonna make that. And then, now the recipe doesn't immediately unlock, partly because we haven't reloaded the pack. Yes. So the recipe doesn't immediately unlock, which is something I think I can come back and do later. But if we craft this, get ourselves a chainmail helmet, and this is going to be the only piece of chainmail I actually craft in this, because I have enough to make iron armor, and I'm not denying iron armor is better. But I quite like the way the chainmail helmet looks. I think that's quite nice. It sort of looks as if you've got chainmail underneath everything else. But if we go back now and let's make a couple more chains just to show off how that looks. See, now the chainmail helmet appears in the recipe stuff, and I can't convert the chains back to nuggets without smelting them. That was smart of me. But yes, the chainmail armor will show up after you've crafted it at the moment, which may be something we come back to further down the line. But for now, I'm gonna make up the rest of my armor. And yes, we're now suited and booted, looking very fancy. If I do say so myself. We probably ought to sort out our tools as well. So that's that part. Now, I want to put in here, so this is metal rebalancing, this is the Datapack shown here, as you can see. Now I want to add 2 branches coming off of this, one to say that we've added chainmail, because if you see here we've said we've got chainmail crafting and we've got ores to nuggets, so I want to add 2 branches coming off of this that will show what Datapacks we've installed here. So, we're now over in the global part, or the global folder of the Datapack, and I put in advancements. Root is one of the conventions here, so this part here that creates the tab, that is one of the conventions that I follow. That might differ between different Datapack creating communities, but I've basically copied and pasted it off the site, and the site for the Datapack conventions I follow will be in the description, or that I try to follow. I don't always follow them, I must say. So these are the 3 that are added by this pack. We've got my Datapacks, which has my head in. We've got the packs for 1.16 because I've created Datapacks that come out for versions before this, and we'll hopefully update them for 1.16 if I ever remember to. And then it adds the metal rebalancing one here. So we are going to open this up, and this is the format for the advancement. And we're going to first do chainmail crafting. It's not finished yet because I think we could improve it slightly. But you do the title, which is that. You add a description, which is very simply adds crafting recipes for chainmail armor. And then obviously we want to represent the pack with a piece of chainmail armor. Now you want it not to show a toast, you don't want to announce it to chat, but you don't want it to be hidden because it's going to show up all the time, and it'll be triggered by Minecraft tick, which means that whenever someone loads up the pack or whenever someone new logs into the world, they will immediately be given this advancement. It won't show up on their display or whatever, but when they check the advancements they can then see that it is installed. And we're going to change the parent here because this is going to be a child advancement of metal rebalance. And if we save that, come back here and reload, you get all the messages again, and something's gone wrong here, which is why it's always important to check. So this has gone wrong because I saved it instead of saving as. I knew there was a reason I shouldn't do this on a video. Okay, we'll save that. We undid everything and then we just redo everything, and instead we do save as, and we'll name it chainmail crafting because that's what it is. And we'll add a new folder in here just for the sake of it. That'll be metal rebalance. So we're trying to sort out stuff as we go so that not everything's in one place. You can see where various things are. Okay, so now that that's done, we reload. Ah, there we go. It shows up. Clear that out. Ah, there we go. So now we've got these two in, and that is, well, for a process that doesn't involve any commands, we're just changing recipes, that is the simple process of how you make a data pack. Now, I know this has been quite simple, but that's all I really wanted to do for this video. So, I will be back with y'all in a few days' time, I imagine, with another thing. Keep your suggestions coming. And thank you for watching, guys. This has been Domain to Genus. I'm going to go deal with that creeper. Peace!